We spend all day clicking, typing, and swiping on our computers, but have you ever really stopped to think about what's making it all work? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on software, the invisible brain that runs our entire digital world. Okay, think about this for a second. Something you probably do all the time. You're working on a document, you click that little print icon, and a few seconds later, a physical piece of paper comes out of a machine, maybe even in another room. It feels like straight up magic, right? But it's not. It's a perfectly coordinated, lightning fast performance. So what's really going on in there? See, it's not as simple as you just telling the printer what to do. Your command doesn't go straight there. It actually goes from your app to this kind of middleman, a manager, if you will, who then translates your request and gives the final order to the hardware. There's this hidden layer of control making sure everything happens in the right order. To really get this, let's use an analogy. Picture your computer as a super busy, popular restaurant. You're the customer, and you want to place an order. Now, you don't just barge into the kitchen and start telling the chef what you want, do you? Of course not. There's a manager running the whole show, making sure the entire operation is running like a well-oiled machine. And this whole restaurant idea, it's perfect for understanding the two main kinds of software. First, you've got the system software. That's our restaurant manager. It's in charge of the entire operation. The kitchen equipment, the lights, the inventory, everything. Then you have the application software. That's the staff. The server who takes your order, the chef who cooks your meal, they're the ones you, the customer, actually interact with to get a specific job done.
So this all-powerful restaurant manager, it's got a real name, of course. We call it the operating system, or just the OS. It's the master program, the big boss, that coordinates absolutely everything happening inside your computer, from the second you press the power button to the moment you shut it down.
All right, so what does this OS manager actually do all day? I mean, it's got to be busy, right? Well, it wears a ton of different hats. Let's take a quick look at a day in the life of your operating system. So first thing in the morning, the manager unlocks the doors and turns on the lights. That's booting up your computer. All day long, it's directing the staff, making sure every program gets the memory and processor time it needs. It's also meticulously organizing the pantry. We call that file management. And super importantly, it's in charge of security, using things like passwords and firewalls to keep everything safe. And speaking of that pantry, this is basically what it looks like on your computer. Your OS builds this perfect, logical, neat structure of drives, folders, and files. It's the reason you can find a specific document at a path like C drive/documents/whatever. Honestly, without this system, your computer would be a complete mess, and finding anything would be a total nightmare. But here's the thing. A great manager isn't just tidy, they're an absolute wizard of efficiency. So, how in the world does your OS handle you listening to music while writing an email, while also having like 20 browser tabs open? How does it juggle all of that without crashing and burning? Well, the first secret weapon it has is something called multitasking. Back in a restaurant, this is like watching the manager zip around the floor. They give a quick order to the chef, then instantly pivot to answer a service question, then check in with the dishwasher, all in the span of a few seconds. They're not doing it all at the exact same time, but they're switching between tasks so fast it sure feels like they are. And this is what that juggling act really looks like. The operating system is like the ultimate traffic cop. It takes all the requests from your apps, your browser, your spreadsheet, your music, and it feeds them to the CPU, the computer's brain, one little piece at a time. But it's happening so blindingly fast, thousands of times a second, that it creates this perfect illusion that everything is running all at once. Okay, but what if you could literally do two things at once? Not just switching fast, but truly at the same time. Well, that's where multiprocessing comes in. This is a total game changer. It's like hiring a second manager for the restaurant. Now, one can handle everything in the kitchen while the other focuses on the dining room, both working at the exact same instant. And trust me, the difference this makes is absolutely massive. Look at the top here. That's one CPU, just multitasking. It's fast, but it's still one thing after another. Now look at the bottom. With two CPUs, or cores as we usually call them, one can be loading that web page while the other is simultaneously spell-checking your document. This is true parallel processing, and it's why modern computers feel so incredibly snappy, especially for intense stuff like gaming or video editing. Now, any good manager knows they can't do everything themselves. They need a team of specialists for specific jobs. And that's exactly what utility programs are. Think of them as the restaurant's professional cleaners, its security team, its expert repair crew, all there to keep the whole operation running in top shape. Take file compression, for example. You can think of it like one of those vacuum sealers you see in a pro kitchen. It takes these big, bulky files that are hogging all the space in your pantry, your hard drive, and it just shrinks them down into a tiny, neat package. It's a simple but brilliant little tool for efficiency.
Okay, so we've given a lot of love to the manager, the OS, running the whole show from behind the scenes. But a restaurant is nothing without its staff, right? The people who actually make the food. So now let's talk about the software you and I actually use every single day, the applications.
So, application software. That's just a fancy term for any program that helps you get a specific thing done. Writing a letter, browsing the web, editing a photo, playing a game. Those are all applications. In our restaurant, these are the rock stars, the talented chefs and the friendly servers who actually deliver the meal you ordered.
All right, so where do we even get all the software? Well, just like ordering food at a restaurant, you've got a few different options on the menu. Basically, the software menu breaks down into 4 main types. You've got your standard commercial software, like Microsoft Office, that you pay for. Then there's shareware. That's your try before you buy, like a free trial of a program. You've also got freeware, like the Chrome browser, which is totally free to use, but the company still owns it. And finally, there's public domain software, which is like a recipe that's been donated to the public for anyone to use and change however they want.
And these days, there are really 2 main ways you get that software served up to you. On the left, you've got the old school sit-down meal. You buy the software, you install it on your computer, and it lives there. But on the right, that's the modern way. It's like a delivery service. The software lives on the internet, and you just access it when you need it. And yeah, this delivery service model has a few fancy names. You might hear it called web-based software or software as a service, which everyone just shortens to SaaS, or even cloudware. The big idea is you don't have to install anything. You just log in and use it from any device, anywhere. It's super convenient.
Okay, so when you put it all together, the manager, the staff, the menu, the delivery service, what do you actually get? Well, you get the perfect meal.
The whole point is, the next time you're just seamlessly jumping between apps or you click print and a document just appears, take a second to remember what's going on under the hood. It's this beautiful, invisible teamwork between that super efficient manager, your OS, and the talented staff, your apps, that comes together to create that perfect, effortless experience just for you.
And that, of course, brings us to the future. It leaves us with one last pretty cool question to think about. For years, this OS manager has gotten really good at following our orders. But as AI gets baked deeper and deeper into our systems, what's the restaurant manager of the future going to look like? Is it going to start anticipating what we want to order before we even know it ourselves? Now that is something to think about. Thanks for joining me.